Okay.
All right, okay. We're taking a little detour. We're going to try to play a little casual game and just walk us through how it goes. This is going to be our first...
So it's base game?
It's base game draft. So Mitch... Oh, there's not even a ban.
No.
Okay. All right, so there's no ban. So it's just drafting. So our opponent drafted light cavalry first. Now, mercenary is like one of the top cards there is. So mercenary cavalry seems like amazing.
Yeah,
mercenary
LC Scout's really fast, but...
Yeah, he'll have Scout with light cavalry.
I also don't hate Merc Royal Guard here.
No, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Royal Guard is really, really strong.
Yeah.
In situations like this.
I guess, yeah. Cavalry seems insane. Cavalry mercenary is pretty good.
It's going to be hard to answer LC if he goes small bag.
It's weird.
Hey, maybe he's a Smurf, I don't know.
Maybe he's a Smurf. Yeah, we're kind of nervous because Mitch is very high ranked. As you can see by his ELO, it's almost 600, and we're playing against, essentially a new player. We didn't really mean for that to happen, but we just want to get a game on.
He's picking right so far.
What do you mean? He picked Archer.
Oh, I just saw the Scout. Oh, well, never mind. Now I'm not sweating at all.
Yeah, so Archer, for new players watching, Archer's one of the worst cards, and so is Lancer. So this person having both Archer and Lancer is a very bad draft for him, or her. Well, it's him because they have a little sex icon on here, so I can say him.
Where do they have that?
It's not on this screen. It was on the previous screen,
but
they have a little the arrow.
Yeah, I guess if you're new to this game, it's hard to take in a lot of the information, but you can explain one of the reasons that both Archer and Lancer are very bad, in that if there is another unit directly adjacent to them, they can't do anything. And so that means it's really hard for them to take points, and it's really hard for them to hold points.
Yeah.
And so they can be dead units so often in this game.
Yeah, it's interesting because in most games, range units and they are powerful here too, in a way, but their detriments are very brutal in this game because, you're trying to get out there and control these points, and they can't hold them without being super vulnerable, so they end up being very bad usually. So
what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get my Marshal to go this way. Most likely just bolster him off, but in the chance that somehow I want to keep him and get involved in an early push with LC or Scout, he'll have a broad range of affecting things.
Yeah. I put a little subtitle that's like, you got to hit intern. I put a little... What does bolster off mean? Bolster off means that you bolster a unit with all the chips you have, so you no longer have any chips to use them with, and essentially making that unit like dead or like a statue. You can always recruit more later, but to bolster a unit off, that means you just stop controlling that unit.
He's going
Archer?
He's recruiting a lot. So, yeah, another thing that you see a lot with players who are not experienced, they just want to recruit as much as possible, and in the high-end games, that's the exact opposite strategy you want. You want this game to be as predictable as possible, and the only way to do that is have the smallest bag possible.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I was just teaching this game to a new player today, and it's very hard to teach this game, actually, because there's just so much to it. I'm assuming if you're watching the video, you know how to play it already, and if you think back to when you were new, just how much to the game there is, every unit being unique, the whole bag concept. But the player I taught it to, who's a very skilled board game player in general, he was thinking there's a lot of luck in this game. A very luck-based game, because you're always drawing at random, you don't know what your opponent has. And what Mitch just said is at the high level, you make the game as predictable as possible, which means your bag is very small, and the amount of units you're controlling at a time is usually 2 or 1. You're not trying to have all 4 units be active. You want to bolster them off, use the other ones, and then bring the bolstered ones off in later when you need to.
This is going pretty much exactly like I'd wanted to. We got pretty lucky with the draws. We can mitigate bad draws with mercenary a little bit, but having Royal Guard in this spot is just kind of the classic play. It's really hard for him to get past it. Can't put pressure on it, and having cavalry on this side to potentially interact with light cavalry is exactly what I wanted. And also, if I get my cavalry up here, if he tries to go to this point eventually, I can then affect it with Marshal if I need to. So it's looking pretty much exactly like I want.
Yeah, Marshal and Ensign are units you want to really plan ahead for. Like, are they going to be useful this game? And if so, where do they want to end up? So what Mitch is thinking is, like you did something weird there.
I right-clicked on him.
You want to think about where's my marshal going to be where he can have a lot of effect. And Marshall, speaking of in here, Marshall and Royal Guard is a really great combo because Royal Guard can just like really take a lot of damage and just sit there while you can keep proccing his attacks and Marshall's attacks. Get a lot of value out of that.
He's going really heavy into both Archer and...
Well, at least half of those are good.
Yeah, so the problem with him trying to interact Archer and Mercenary is that whenever he moves up and gets close enough, I can just recruit from my bank and go right next to him to where he can't hit me. So that's a pretty incorrect style of play there. I will probably here actually take another cavalry just in case he tries to bolster and start playing with his light cavalry. I would have liked to see a Royal Guard coin in my first hand here to protect this, but I imagine it's going to be fine. I'd love for him to move an archer up here. He recruits a scout.
He recruits a scout, okay.
I am actually probably just going to... I'm going to bolster off a cavalry here. I'm trying to keep this around in case I want to maybe mess around with this, being able to marshal my mercenary. Moving up my cavalry in a position to threaten this would mean if he happens to have two archers, he could just come and arch me, which I do not want to have happen.
This is interesting because I'm not used to having people have full archer bags. It actually makes archer quite dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard to move. He's almost always going to have an archer chip.
So here...
he's got a huge bag.
I'm actually probably just going to pass.
Passing is only for pros. Passing's for advanced users only.
Passing is underrated for sure. You know, actually, I'm not a pro. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to recruit a cavalry here.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to try to force him to have to bolster his archer and his light cavalry because... Okay, here we go. He's still not threatening anything,
nice,
but now
central position for that.
I'm going to bolster this off. I had a chance to play around with him, but now my main two units are here and here. I'm going to be able to take and control this without really any effort with Royal Guard.
Royal Guard, yeah.
Mercenary has enough in the bag here to be able to get both of these, and cavalry should be able to right now handle both of those. And the more cavalries I'm drawing with my small bag, the more I'm going to be able to control the situation.
So you see Mitch's bag now is just 5 chips, and his opponent's is... Well, his bag now is 4, but he's got 3 in hand. So he's got a 7 chip bag. 5 chip bag is pretty ideal. 5 or less if you want to really like get predictable with this game and get unpredictable for your opponent. Because with a 5 chip bag, you're rotating your full bag every redraw, and you could always have anything. And there's never any guarantees to what you do or don't have.
A little bit of mystery.
Yeah, if you're having multiple iterations come out of your bag, then your discard pile starts giving you so much information to the opponent. Yeah. They know, like in this case, the scouts are all gone, and he's not going to get any more scouts. This whole hand, the next full hand, and you're just going to know that. So that scout is basically dead, and Mitch has full knowledge of that. That's a really bad spot for his opponent to be in.
So here I could attack, kill this, which would set him back quite a bit, and he can arch me. I'm not for sure right now going to redraw a cavalry. I don't want to lose my cavalry. I'm not really threatened by what he's doing right now, so I'm just not going to.
Just mercenary action?
I'm probably going
to... you can just move left.
Yeah, I was thinking of bolstering him off, though, too.
Okay.
I mean, my cavalry can just clean this up so fast.
You think just go all cavalry?
I'm going to bolster it off.
Sure. This is another awkward spot for the archer. He's going to have a big bag full of archer chips without any good shots. It's like, what do you do with them?
He's going to have to either move into range or pass a lot.
You need so much discipline to pass with your archer chips here.
Yeah, and if you know what you're up against, a lot of times they can tell your hand too. I mean, he could be passing on any chip, but most likely he's going to be passing with an archer chip, so you kind of know what it is, even though he's just wasting it. I might go in with my cavalry here.
He just recruited another one. Wow.
Yeah.
That's too much recruiting. It's too much. So he's used one archer.
I'll for sure get a cavalry now. So right now my bag will be 1, 2, 3, 4 chips. Mm-hmm. And with 2 of them cavalry, I'll for sure redraw another one. And
So
that
you
means
can
I'll be able to kill the archer. And even if I can't, even if he bolsters the archer so it doesn't die, I'll be able to attack next to it. And then it's
over anyway.
It's pretty much over.
Yeah, so he's going to double cavalry. So even if he has an archer chip now, which is not even a guarantee, you could come out of this unscathed. But we assume he has it.
Yeah, I mean, this is already pretty much done. And that's one of the great things about having mercenary, being able to bolster him off. You don't have him affecting your bag, but the moment you need him, you just start recruiting him.
Yep.
So let's see what he does here.
That's why mercenary is one of the best units.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons.
Especially in base game.
The first reason is because you're guaranteed to be able to move him off your starting point, no matter how bad your hand is. And that's very powerful. And then what Mitch said is you can just bolster him off and keep your bag thin, and then just go nuts. So look at this great move. Kills the archer, although he can redeploy him up there.
Yeah, the one annoying part is that he'll be able to deploy, and he's in range to shoot me when he does. His bag currently doesn't have enough to do it, but I'll be able to take this point with my archer or my cavalry right now, and then we just start recruiting mercenaries. Actually,
you can just keep cavalry and win.
Well, you know what? I'm actually going to bolster it.
What? Why?
I'm going to bolster it and then just take with Merc here. He doesn't threaten. The only point he can possibly take is going to be either this or this. And I don't really want to draw cavalries right now. I have nothing to attack.
Well, he's going to deploy an archer.
Well, yeah, and I'll have a cavalry.
Okay. Not even a control. What a guy. You should have done the mercenary thing first, and then
you are right about that.
Because he could have deployed an archer. Now you can attack him.
Yeah, but honestly, I probably wouldn't have attacked him.
He didn't even deploy the archer.
So we're going to recruit a Merc. We're going to bring him left first because cavalry can kind of protect this point. And I mean, now there's so little that he can do.
Now our opponent has a 9-chip bag. I haven't seen a 9er in ages. I mean, this is, he's a new player, obviously, so I'm not trying to rag on him. But this is, if for the new players and for this, what's his name, Gross Striker, that's too many chips in your bag. That's too much recruiting.
It's never, ever, ever a situation you want to be in. There's no logical reason to want that. There's no time that having 9 is better.
If you have more than
still recruiting,
if you have more than 6 in your bag, you should really definitely stop recruiting and start bolstering. This game is like explaining poker to a really new player where they think folding is losing. Like folding in poker means you lost.
Yeah, taking an action is not always the best thing to do.
Yeah. In this game, passing feels like a waste, but so you recruit instead. Like, why would I pass and give value by recruiting anything? That's not true. It's actually negative value most of the time to recruit.
So we're just controlling with all 3 this turn. No matter what he does, that's what we're going to do. I think he might just be...
He's toasted.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might be forfeiting.
Now his bag is so gross that he's just completely captured here. Now you bolster off the Royal Guard.
We're going to bolster off both of these, actually, this turn.
Okay. And just Royal Guard will just... I mean, not Royal Guard. Mercenary will just get the last point, and nothing can stop him.
Actually,
you're just going to walk right now, right?
Yep. We don't even care if he hits us, I suppose.
Well, don't walk that way anyway. You could take initiative as well. You didn't have to, but yeah, that even really sinks the nail in the coffin.
So we'll have a 4 bag, and we'll have 2 mercenary chips to draw from. We'll for sure hit it, and we'll win next turn. I almost feel bad commenting on this because there's not much strategy involved in what's happening right now for the poor guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't have an understanding of the game to make it.
I think it's actually helpful to see what are the rookie mistakes. I mean,
sure,
he made a lot. Yeah. Recruiting Archer highly, recruiting Lancer. I mean, he didn't recruit Lancer highly, but he could have not taken Lancer.
Yeah,
certainly not Archer. He can see it's all right.
Okay.
We learned a little bit about big bag versus small bag.
1 point.
Hey, nice.
Hey, there we go.
100. You wouldn't get that kind of commentary in a pro game because
it's true. You
never
wouldn't get to see.
bag, so.
Yeah, it's one of those where you get to see some mistakes that people make for sure. Yeah.
All right, we're seeing